Here, this is one of the unique examples of Byzantine architecture we have in the area. As you can tell, it's a very peaceful location, and we will soon enter the church grounds. As you know, the rules for the church grounds, as everywhere, are the same. So please, let's abide by that. And since it is a church that is quite often used by the community, we need to be very careful with touching objects, etc., etc. But let's get back to the purpose why we're here. It is one of those locations which is included in most itineraries of people traveling in the southern part of the country. And apart from a very short segment of the road which is still unpaved, it's a very funny story why it's still unpaved, because there is no reason why it's still like that. Just to make sure that everybody who comes here remembers that there is always a 4x4 drive in the country, so not always asphalt. So we make some drivers happy with that, and of course visitors are still traveling in the countryside and they feel like they're still doing within one day both smooth driving and 4x4 as well. So that's why we keep it that way. But to get back to this object, it has been recently, very recently, restored by the Ministry of Culture of Albania. It is one of those interventions which aim to not just preserve, but make sure that in terms of sustaining itself, the church can last as long as possible. So massive interventions, starting from the top of the roof, the dome, which had problems, regarding an old inclination, all the way down to the foundations of the church, including especially the eastern side, where the water from the steep hill started to influence and shake the foundation. So now measures have been taken to make sure that the water does not infiltrate, and the church is in a much better shape. We can start seeing the humidity going away, but it takes time to get away so much humidity from the thick walls, and you will see what I mean by thick walls when we get in. What is important to mention about this church is that this is not a classical Byzantine type church. You will see that the dome especially is very rare. You don't see it often in other Byzantine churches. In some, because it's a transitional period when the dome becomes like the one we will see, a round, very heavy dome. Including, after the visit, we will make a circle of the church from outside to make sure you appreciate the brownish looking tile and the rock, the mixture of the white rock and the brownish looking tile, the way how they have been used, especially the so-called fish pattern, the fishbone pattern, which is used in Byzantine churches, but it depends how much and at what length you use it on the exterior. There's a lot of work and a lot of studies regarding this church that have been completed, and it's one of those cases that it would be like one of those good scenarios to use for other similar objects regarding their promotion. Easily accessible, in the middle of a village, welcoming people. The locals provide you with information. There is some good food nearby, a nice drink, a coffee. So let's think about this to serve as a model for, let's say, a broader perspective. Shall we get the key to go inside the Marian Church into the